today we are going to learn about Virtual Private Cloud and the related components like subnets, route tables, internet and NAT gateways, etc. in AWS. So AWS provides a one-click button to create the VPC, subnets and the components automatically. But as easy the creation is, more difficult is the troubleshooting. If someone in the team accidentally messes up with the configuration or one of the routes are misplaced, the servers become unreachable, causing major outages. Often it takes hours to debug the situation and bring things back to normal. So this demonstration will be of creating these components step by step from scratch. We will learn how these components are associated, and we will create NACLs and attach the subnets to it, so adding extra security on the outer network layer. And for observability, we will enable VPC Flow Logs while dumping the logs in an S3 bucket. So here is our architecture diagram. First, we will log it to AWS Management Console and create a VPC. VPC is a private space in the cloud created just for you. It's like having your own virtual network where you can run your digital stuff like servers, databases, and applications, just like you would on your computer. Next, we will create subnets in different availability zones. AWS subnets are like separate zones within the cloud where you can place your digital resources. They help organize and secure your services, like putting them in different rooms for better control and protection. And an availability zone is like having backup copies of your digital stuff in different distant places. So if something goes wrong in one location, your data and services stay safe and available in another place nearby. It's like having a plan B for your cloud resources. So we'll be creating 6 different subnets inside our VPC, which will comprise of 2 DMZ layers, 2 app layers, and 2 database layers. So we're going to split these pair of subnets across 2 different availability zones. The bare minimum we always want to have or to do for highly available and fault-tolerant architecture in AWS. Then we're going to create 2 different route tables. So first will be a route to the internet for our public subnets, or the subnets we want to have access to the open internet via the internet gateway. And second, a route to the NAT gateway, so that anything placed in our private subnets will have a route to update software from the open internet. We'll add some security to our subnets with 3 network access control lists, also known as NACLs, which we will assign to a pair of subnet layers. And finally, we will enable VPC Flow Logs, which will help us capture information about the IP traffic going to and from network interfaces in our VPC. And we'll dump these logs to an S3 bucket. I know it's a lot of stuff and I'm really excited for the demo, so let's get started. So here we are logged into our AWS Management Console. Here we search for a VPC service. Here we go. We land on the VPC page. We are in the US East 1 region, North Virginia. Click on VPC. Here you see that we do not have any VPC already created, so we'll create VPC. So here if you click on VPC and more, you get a lot of options that will automatically get created, but we'll create it from scratch. So click on VPC only. Name the VPC whatever you like. I'm just naming it as prod VPC. Here we have to input IPv4 CIDR range, so I'll just put 10.10.0.0/16. I'll just leave all the other settings as default. Hit create VPC. And here we go, our VPC is created. The next step is to create subnets. So click on subnets. Hit create subnet button. So here we select our VPC that we just created and we start creating the subnet. So here we'll name our subnet as decided. The first one will be DMZ public 1. This will be in availability zone US East 1A. and the CIDR block will be 10.10.1.0/24. We'll add another subnet, DMZ-public 2, and this time the availability zone I will select as US East 1B, and I will input the CIDR, which will be different from what we created in 1A. So we'll create all the subnets at once. Let's create the other two as well. The app1 app public. Okay, so it will be in the private one. US East 1A 10.10.3.0/24. We'll add another subnet, app private 2. The AZ will be 1B, and the CIDR, and another subnet is the last one, that's DB private again, then 1A, the CIDR, a different one, a new subnet, the last one, private 2, and here is the last CIDR. Done. And just verify once again if you have chosen the proper settings and have not done any mistakes. So let's just cross check. So EC1A, CIDR, 1B, said it looks good, and here A, 1B, again the last DB, 1A. Okay, here we forgot to choose the preference. Let's choose it 1B. Okay, we're done. Looks good. Hit create subnet. All of our 6 subnets are getting created at once. Here we go. So all 7s are in the available state now. Just look at the CIDRs. They're looking unique and different from each other. Okay, so the next step is to create an internet gateway. It's pretty simple. Just hit create an internet gateway button. Name the internet gateway as you like. Just we'll add a prefix so that we know that it's for the prod VPC. Create internet gateway, and done. So if you see now, it is in a detached state. We have to attach it to our VPC. So attach to VPC, select your VPC, and attach internet gateway. Done. Okay, I see it attached. So next step is to create NAT gateway for our private servers. Create NAT gateway. Name the NAT gateway. Give a nice name. Here we select the subnet. Now remember, this should be in a public subnet, so we'll select just DMZ2 for now. Here we have to allocate an elastic IP. I do not have one existing one, so I'll just allocate a new elastic IP. Create NAT gateway. Done. Okay, the state is pending. It will be done in a few minutes. Next, we create route tables. So here you see we already have one route table which was already created for the prod VPC by default, but we're not going to use this. We're going to create separate route tables and configure those. So hit create route table. Let's create the public one first. Just name it public route and select the VPC. As for the naming convention, let's just name it with the VPC name and create route table. Okay, now the next one we have to create it for the private service. So let's just create it, prod VPC private route. Select the VPC, create route table, and here we go. So now we have both of our route tables, the public and the private ones, created. Now the next step is to make the subnet associations in it, so that our subnets are able to follow those routes that we've created. So we'll just click on subnet associations. Here we see there are no subnet associated as of now, and in the route you see that we have one route by default added, which allows the access within the VPC CIDR. So we'll hit edit routes, add route, select 0.0.0/0, and we select here internet gateway. Click on the internet gateway that you created, save changes. Okay, so here you see now we have a route which navigates to the internet gateway through our public route table. Next we go to our private route, and we follow the same steps. We click on routes, edit routes, add route 0.0.0/0. Here we select NAT gateway, select the NAT gateway that we just created some time back. Let's save changes, and here we go. The next step is to associate the subnets, our private subnets, to this route table. So we select, so here you see that in the first public one we do not have any subnets, so we will first associate our public servers here, which will be DMZ public 1 and DMZ public 2. Here we go, save associations. Now we move on to our VPC. Here you see two subnets we already see in the subnet associations. In the private one, we edit subnet association, select the private servers, app private 1, DB private 1, DB private 2, and app private 2. Save. Okay, here we go. Now we see our 4 subnets associated with the private route. This is done. The next step is to create network ACLs, which will be an additional security for our subnets. So here you see we already have one default NACL that has all the 6 subnets we created in this VPC, but we'll create separate NACLs for these 3 layers. So let's just create it. First one is for the DMZ. We'll just name it DMZ and select the VPC. Just for the naming convention, create network ACL, and we create the another 2 NACLs. Those are for the app .vpc. Select the VPC, create network ACL. And the third one, db.vpc, select the VPC and create network ACL. Done. Now we have to associate our subnets with these NACLs so that they start routing through these. So if you see here, the subnets are associated with the default NACL and you cannot edit it. We have to associate the subnets with the newly created ones, and it will be automatically deselected from here. Let's get started. Let's click on DMZ, subnet associations, edit. Here we'll select the DMZ subnets. Those are DMZ public 1 and DMZ public 2. Save changes. Okay, now you see the 2 subnets are automatically shifted to the DMZ prod VPC NACL. We do the same thing for the app and the DB. Edit, select app, subnets, save, done. And the last one, DB, subnet associations, edit, DB private 1, private 2, save changes, done. So here we have successfully associated all the subnets with those NACLs that we created. I'll just show you like how we can restrict the inbound rules for one of the NACLs. So for example, in the app, if you see, we currently have everything denied, all the traffic is denied. So if we want to allow HTTP from our public or within our VPC, this is how we do it. Select the roll number and select the port that we want to add, and here we put in the source from where we want to allow it from. So here we just want to allow it from within our VPC. We do not want it to be faced from outside network. So we'll just copy the CIDR and we'll paste it here, allow, and save changes. Done. So now this NACL allows the servers in this subnets to be accessible on the port 80 from this VPC and denied from outside. All the other ports are denied from outside. So this is how we edit our NACLs later for our servers in these VPCs and subnets. Now the last part is to create flow logs. So let's just go in flow logs. Here currently we do not have any flow logs. Hit the create flow log button. Name the flow log prod VPC Flow Log. Here we can filter, accept, reject, or all. We'll just select all for now. The aggregation interval, I'm just going with the default, and I'll send my logs to S3 bucket. So I'll just create one S3 bucket for this purpose. Create bucket. I'll name it prod VPC Flow Log. It's in this correct region. I'll just leave other settings as default. Sales and the public access is denied. Encryption is default one. Okay, create bucket. Oh, so there's some problem. Okay, the name is not unique, so we just make it unique for now. Okay, here we go. Create bucket. Okay, we have our bucket now. So we will need the ARN of the bucket. Let's just copy it from the properties. Copy it from here to the VPC. Paste it. Okay, done. So now here you see we can have different format, a custom format, but we'll just go with the default for now. Scroll down. Here we just leave all the other settings as default. The partition logs, you can select 24 hours or 1 hour. We'll just go with 24 hours for now. That's a default one. And create flow log. Now if you see, we have our flow logs created over here. It's in this section, and it goes to our destination, that's S3 bucket. So we're done with all the steps that we had decided for this demo.